Welcome back to the channel everyone, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at rice, which is coming to FS25. So Giant have released a new blog. It's on the website. There'll be a link down in the description below. I'll also have my partner codes there, so if you're thinking of buying FS25, if you could use those codes, it would really help the channel out. But we'll get into the blog now. For me, although it does show the mechanics of rice a little bit better, detail I think we've been looking for a while now, it actually raises a few more questions than it answers, so we'll get into that later on. But for now, there's going to be two types of rice in the game, long grain and just normal rice. But first of all, we'll take a look at the normal rice. So here we can see the different growth states. So 4 months to harvest with the harvested and withered crop there. It looks like it's going to be worth quite a lot of money as well. Maximum yield per hectare 13,200 litres with an average selling price of $3,300 pounds or euros. That of course is on easy difficulty, so expect a lot less on the normal and hard economies. So as I said, 4 months to grow, planted in April or May, harvested in August and September. So now we'll take a look at the long grain rice, and here I'm a little bit confused. So it's saying 5 months growth duration, but as you can see there's only 4 growth states. Maximum yield per hectare a little bit more, 18,000 litres, but the price on easy economy there like less than half. So yeah, I think long grain rice isn't going to be as profitable, although you don't need specialist equipment. As you'll see later on, you can just use normal harvesters to take the long grain rice out with a normal grain header. It's going to be planted in April, so it looks like only a 1 month window to get this in, and harvested in September. And as you can see, rice and long grain rice need different water levels, machines to sow and harvest, and seeds of course. Long grain rice isn't sown in water like the other one. Instead, the rice paddy for long grain rice gets flooded after the sowing, not before. So let's start at the beginning. Right, so here we are, we have the cultivation menu, and as you expect from FS22, we've got grapes and olives at the top there, and then below it we've got what is the paddy field. So it's saying 1,500 euros. Now, is that per paddy field? Does the size of your paddy field determine how much it costs? I've only ever seen this 1,500 euros in all the screenshots, no matter how big the paddy field is, but yeah, still need to confirm that. Then at the sort of top middle there, we've got advanced controls, and we can add a corner, we can finish, we can remove last corner, which is great to see a back button. I really hope that comes to landscaping as well, so you can get rid of your mistakes. Change the placement height, not sure what that means. You know, I would expect, this is another one of the questions along with the price of the paddy field, do you need to have a flat field? Because if you can change the placement height, that would kind of suggest you don't. Now we all know water finds its own level, so if you try to create a rice paddy field on a hill, one end's going to be very soggy. So I mean, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. You've got toggle snapping. Not sure what that is. Perhaps it just helps you create straight lines or create square boxes, things like that. And then we can also zoom camera. So going back to the blog, both types of rice are planted or sown in rice fields, also called paddies. That's a special type of field, deepened to allow for water retention. That's why you require an open space on your land. So again, it just says open space. It doesn't say anything about being flat. Via the build menu, which we've just sort of seen, you start the creation process. Instead of just placing down a field, you can shape it in any size or form. And this is what I was talking about before. You can see the two, well, the one on the left there. The field's a lot bigger now, but the price is still 1,500 euros. And the other screenshot here, I think this must be you just in the field getting ready. You've just selected the cultivation menu at the top there. You can see we're going to start a new field. You can still toggle the snapping off, and you can zoom the camera in and out. Right, so that's paddy fields done. Let's move on to the rice greenhouses. This one's optional. You can buy saplings at the dealership, or you can build special greenhouses dedicated to cultivating rice saplings. If your agricultural ambitions rely on increased rice productions, you should look at growing them yourself. Definitely something I'm more interested in with the game is creating everything you can yourself without having to buy it from dealerships. There's no more information on what it takes to actually grow the saplings, but you can see there the picture on the left, there's a water tanker, I assume, filling up the greenhouse with water, and then the one to the right is the saplings. Like normal greenhouses where the produce comes outside, the saplings will be stacked outside the greenhouse, and at the right of that picture you've even got the rice harvester there loaded up with the saplings. So moving on to planting and harvesting rice. Here's the equipment you need to plant and harvest rice. I'm assuming this is the normal rice, not for the long grain rice. You need a tractor, a cultivator, a specialised rice planter, as well as a harvester and a trailer. Some lime should also be in storage, but for the end of the whole process. Rice fields are pre-limed when you build them, which is why you don't need to apply it in the beginning. Now where this leaves precision farming, I don't know. I'm assuming precision farming is coming back to FS25, or perhaps precision farming just doesn't work with rice. I don't know, still need to figure that out. So once you've got your saplings and you have your field created, you need to activate the water pump to flood the field, then plant the saplings. Since the rice planter will take care of fertilisation, you don't need an additional fertiliser spreader like with other crops. The pump will automatically provide the correct amount of water. Just check your water pump daily to maintain the proper level, or you'll lose your seedlings and yield. All the water will be soaked up by thirsty plants by the end of the growth cycle. So again, doesn't really tell you much of this. There's a pump there, you have to visit it daily. What you have to do with that pump, I don't know, whether you need to increase the flow or whether you just need to re-water the field. Still need to figure that out. Like I say, you know, this blog's good, but seems to have created more questions than we had to start with. But it does seem as though sort of crop destruction is going to be a bigger thing in FS25. Obviously we've seen with the hurricane, that's going to destroy your crops. It seems here that if you don't tend to them properly, with water, etc., then that's also going to affect your yield. Okay, so you've harvested your rice. You can decide what to do with it, sell it or store it, or process it into products. Then we need to grow another batch of rice. Lime is going to be periodic, so you can see there on the right, lime spreader just going through. I don't know if there's going to be variable rates, again, like we had with precision farming, but all you need to do is lime it if needed, and then cultivate it, and then I assume flood it and replant. Okay, so moving on to long grain rice. With long grain rice you don't need any water to sow your plant just yet. Long grain rice is sown dry. Just fill your seeder with seeds and start sowing one row after another until the whole paddy field is covered. So it looks like you just use a normal planter. The picture on the right there, that looks like that's the management for the water pump. So after that you flood the rice field and need to maintain different water levels at different growth stages. Don't worry, the pump will only allow just the right amount of water. Check your water pump daily to maintain the proper level. If you don't, you lose some of your rice saplings. So this looks like the pump control. I'm assuming you walk up to the pump and you get an option to open this menu. Whether you can change field number, I don't know, or whether that's just saying that's the field I'm in. It shows you the size of the paddy field, it shows you what's in the paddy field, and it tells you the current water level. So the blog said, don't worry, the pump will allow only the right amount of water. So is that 51% going to change depending on the state of the crop or which stage the harvest's in? I really don't know. That's something we're going to have to find out. Again, more questions than actually answers. The next pictures just show the water pump in action, I think. Once the plant is ready to harvest and has consumed all the fresh yummy water, just head over to your harvester and hop in. Your standard combine with the grain header will do the job. So you're not going to need specialised equipment. You know, there's a lot of harvesters about, especially as the mods come. So definitely a cheaper way of doing rice. And then sell it, store it or process it further at select production plants. But we're not done yet. To cultivate another batch of rice, apply lime to the field and cultivate the paddy with a cultivator. No mention of whether you're going to have to apply lime every time, and again, still no mention of precision farming, certainly to do with rice. But let's move on to the growth stages. So starting off with just normal rice, and what I'll do is I'll just put in the pictures I was sent rather than the ones off the images because they're a lot better. But as you can see, we've got growth stage 1, growth stage 2, growth stage 3, and then this is the stage 4 ready to harvest. The next one is obviously the harvested texture, and the last one the withered texture. So now we'll move on to the long grain rice. So here we can see stage 1, this is just being planted, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and then finally the harvested and withered. But that's all from the rice today. Next blog it's saying maybe goats, so we'll see what comes out then. But it'll be interesting to see some of the answers to some of the questions when the game comes out. I do have a partner code. If you pre-order, you get the Macdon pack free, but links in the description to my Giants partner code. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.